I don't think I've seen the Hawks play that sloppy since, I don't know, early December, maybe? It's been a while. That was bad. That was bad. But they did get a point out of it, so they got that going for them, which is nice. Wow. You have to get up, do what they do. But that was insane. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Come on. I make go records, baby. I'm liking this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Hawks Recap. My name is Clay. Thank you for tuning in. Blackhawks playing their 53rd game of the season, meaning that we now are officially under 30 games left to go in the season. Of course, the Hawks didn't really mark that milestone with any sort of enthusiasm as they limped to an overtime loss to the Minnesota Wild by a score of 3-2. And boy, was that a rough first 40 minutes for the Hawks. That was super duper sloppy, my goodness. Hawks on the road to start this back-to-back, and this was supposed to be the easier of the two games. Nothing against the Wild, because the Hawks aren't world beaters by any stretch of the imagination. But when you're playing a back-to-back against the Wild and the Bruins, yeah, I'd rather take my chances against the Wild. Yes, the Hawks beat the Bruins in Boston earlier this year. However, Boston was kind of struggling going into that game. Right now, the Bruins are pretty darn hot. And when you're playing a team that's below you in the standings, such as the Wild, and you're in a playoff push, wild card push, like the Hawks are right now, these are the types of games you have to take advantage of. And the Hawks did not do that at all. Dumba, in his interview before the game, said that he thought his team was going to come out with their legs going. He thought they were energized, and boy, was he right. At least a lot more energized than the Hawks were. The Hawks were like limping out there compared to the Wild. The Hawks failed to register a shot on goal until 12 and a half minutes into the first period. It was bad. They got 3, maybe 4 shots on goal in that first period. It was, my goodness. But thankfully, the Hawks had Crawford in net. Not saying that Robin Leonard couldn't have put the same performance in that Crawford did, but Crawford was on his game in this one. He kept this game scoreless or goalless through the first period. The Hawks just absolutely super lucky to be going into the second period tied with the Wild. Now, the Hawks would end up getting 10 shots on goal in that second period, but it was still rough. It really was. They just struggled to get the puck out of their own zone, turn the puck over like they were basically the beginning of the season in the defensive zone. Could not get it out of their zone cleanly. Could not make clean passes to effectively start a rush. Couldn't get a forecheck going. Hardly could get a shot on goal. And if it was a shot, it didn't seem very dangerous. Meanwhile, Crawford's back there just saving every single chance that he could. But, you know, he was going to break at some point. And about 4 minutes into the second period, Kevin Fiala gets a goal to put the Wild up. He would get another goal with about 5 minutes left to go in the second period. Kevin Fiala probably had a career game in this one. He was all over the ice. He looked really good. But Hawks really didn't put up a whole lot of fight in those first 2 periods. Blackhawks did have a glorious opportunity to cut it back to a 1-goal game before the period would expire. Brandon Saad getting a rebound right to his stick, wide open net, and he decides to pass the puck. Are you kidding me? Brandon Saad, who has been scoring at a great rate as of late, like, 5 goals in his last, 7 games, something like that. He's been scoring quite a bit. Like, he's not struggling at any sense of imagination. Him with the puck, with a wide open net, and somehow something fires in his brain to say, pass the puck across the crease into a bunch of traffic where, yeah, Patrick Kane is somewhere, but it's not high percentage. It certainly isn't as high percentage as shooting into a wide open net. Oh my God, it was like Murphy's Law at that point for the Hawks. Anything that could go wrong was going wrong. It was just, I can't believe he didn't shoot that puck. I'm not one of those guys that yells, shoot the dang I don't do that because I know there's usually a reason. Like there's not a lane that we can't see from a broadcast angle, like the other team's kind of blocking it. I get that stuff, but this one was just absolutely like obvious from I think everyone. Bench, players on the ice, refs, crowd, TV viewers, just insane. And so the Wild go up or stay up 2-0 going into the third period. Now, I can't say that if Brandon Saad decided to be smart in that situation at the end of the second period and shot it on goal and scored, I can't say that the Hawks would have then won this game in regulation just based on the final score of this game. You can't say that because that's a fallacy of predetermined outcome. That goal at the end of the second, or that would-be goal at the end of the second, would completely change the reality of this game, the reality of the third period. It basically branches reality, and you cannot say that the goals that the Hawks ended up scoring in the third period in this branch would still be scored in this branch. So you can't say that. Just like you can't say that if the Hawks would have scored on one of their 3 power plays that they would have won this game as well. But it sure would have helped. The Wild are taking advantage of their power plays. Kevin Fiala is taking advantage of the Wild power plays. Meanwhile, the Blackhawks have 3 power play opportunities in the first 40 minutes, and they gather, 2 shots on goal during them? Are you kidding me? That's atrocious. That's absolutely atrocious. And it's been atrocious this entire year. This is not a new phenomenon. But if the Hawks want to make a run to the playoffs here, first off, they got to beat teams like the Wild. Once again, nothing against the Wild, but when you're playing against a team that's below you in the standings and in division, you have to take advantage of that. If the Hawks want to make a run to the playoffs, they need to turn this power play around. They need to start capitalizing on it. Because it certainly would have helped in this game. Third period, at least they played decent. I'm not going to say good. I'm not going to say great. They played decent. But you got to give the Hawks props. They came out with some fight in that third period. They found a way to get the job done in regulation. They found a way to come back from 2 goals down to get this game into overtime, to get a point, to salvage something out of the very sloppy, poor first 40 minutes that they had in this game. They found a way to get that job done. And that's an important trait to have when you're in a playoff push. You're going to need that trait, and it was good to see the Hawks show that they have that trait. 6.5 minutes into the third period, Adam Boqvist with the puck at the point, and he just unleashes a very innocent-looking wrist shot, but it finds twine at the end of its journey. Net front presence, as I've said all along, it's a wonderful thing. And neutralizes the vision of the goaltender. Stalock never sees it and helps turn an innocent-looking shot into a goal. Adam Boqvist with his 3rd goal of the season makes this a 2-1 game, and the Hawks continue to push. Hawks would have some golden opportunities. Doc with a nifty move outside in, all alone. Couldn't find a way to bury it. Jonathan Toews with the golden opportunity. Couldn't find a way to bury it. Corey Crawford had to make some big saves. He had to make a breakaway save in that third period on Donato. He had to make some huge saves throughout this game. Personally, I think Crawford basically willed this team into a point tonight. It's a shame that he didn't even get on the 3 stars at the end of the game. But Hawks continue to push, and finally it would pay off with about 3-ish minutes left to go. Olimata finds the puck, half boards, just puts it on net. Innocent shot, but net front presence. DeBrincat right there with Dumba. Stalock can't see it. And that puck finds twine. And the Hawks find a way to tie this game up, and it goes into overtime. Unfortunately, the Hawks would return to their sloppy ways in overtime. Just couldn't find a way to really get good possession of the puck, or if they did, they just turned it over. That's what led to the eventual goal. Toews did have a chance. He hit the crossbar with a shot. Oh, so close. It was a good overtime period. It was exciting. But the Wild definitely dominated that overtime period, and they took advantage of the Hawks' turnovers. And, well, Dumba found a way to get the puck in. It bounced off Corey Crawford up and over. It hits the crossbar, then Crawford, and finds a way to go in. That was a dumb goal, but it was for Dumba, so it makes sense. No offense, Dumba. Seriously, it was kind of an anticlimactic goal. Hawks lose, but they get a point. Hopefully, whatever it was that made the Hawks play so sloppy in this game, hopefully they find a way to just get over it and get over it quick, because they need to. Now they get to play the Boston Bruins at home on the back end of this back-to-back. Robin Lehner will be in net. We're going to need his A game, but we're going to need the A games of everyone in front of him, which we did not have in this game. It would be lovely for the Hawks to get a win, to get 2 points against the Bruins, but I will take a point. I will take an overtime loss against. Look, I'm not going to complain about 2 points on a back-to-back. I know the Hawks have made back-to-backs look pretty easy this year, but back-to-backs are not really supposed to be easy. They're tough business, and getting 2 out of 4 points, I'm fine with that. It's like, for all you golf fans, it's like a really tough hole. Don't even worry about getting a birdie. Just get your par and get out, move on. That's basically what back-to-backs are in hockey. And so if the Hawks could find a way to come out with a point against the Bruins and get 2 out of 4 points in this back-to-back, they'll be all right. We'll move on from there. We'll continue on with this pretty tough stretch of hockey that's coming up. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Hawks Recap. I really hope you enjoyed it despite the outcome of this game. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate that always. But most importantly, stay safe, make good decisions, and I'll see you next time.